Frost Angel, 2 Sword of Feast and Famine, 1 Basilisk Caller, 3 Plains, 4 Razor Verge Thicket, 4 Copperline Gorge, 4 Arid Mesa, 4 Raging Ravine, 2 Forests, 2 Mountains, 2 Rootbound Crags. Sideboard, 2 Core Firewalker, 3 Condemn, 2 Cunning Spark Mage, 1 Basilisk Caller, 1 Sun Titan, 2 Gideon Jura, 2 Acidic Slime, and 2 Lightning Bolt. So hopefully you guys out there wrote that one down. And for those of you who just missed all his entire deck list, welcome to the Star City Games Open Series here in Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm Gavin Verhey here with Big Head Joe.
Hello.
And we're bringing you coverage of the round 7.
7 of 9.
7 of 9. These players, Ryan is X01, Nick Spagnolo is X1 right now. If Ryan wins this round, he's 1 win away from clinching top 8. If Nick wins this round, he's also 1 win away from clinching top 8. So it's an important match for both players. Ryan, on your right of your screen, is playing an interesting Naya deck, similar to some of the Naya decks we saw a while back, but it's got some new innovations. It's got Squadron Hawk, a bunch of one-of toolbox targets it can go fetch up. On the left of your screen, we have Nick Spagnolo, a player who you'll probably recognize, is playing in a lot of these tournaments. Nick is playing Cobblade, a pretty stock list, blue-white. He has got Tumble Magnets in the main deck, but he does have Day of Judgment also. So, yes.
Our only undefeateds left are Dustin Dragu, Wes Blanchard, Mark Hendrickson, and Jerry Thompson, and they are all playing each other.
Yep. And there you go. So, yeah, Nick Spagnolo's deck, pretty stock except for the 2 Tumble Magnets in the main deck. He still has Linvala in the sideboard, a card which a lot of people said wasn't that good in the mirror match, or was a little underwhelming. Interesting to note, Ryan O'Connor has a Scrap Melter. I talked to him about it on my break, about why he had Scrap Melter instead of Manic Vandal. And he really felt like the 3 power was important. Like he wanted to bash with it. Like he felt like a lot of times he was just going to draw it naturally, and he wanted to just cast it as a big creature. Also, he said that it was foil, and he wanted to play with it. So, always good reasons.
That's a perfectly acceptable reason. I'll take it.
So, it looks like there's been quite a few mulligans in the match. Let's see what's in Ryan's hand. 5 cards. Oh, 6 cards. All right, and we're off to the races.
All right, so we start with a Copperline Gorge from Ryan O'Connor. And Nick plays an island into a Preordain.
You are playing on the Sarah Angel table numbers. Please report to your matches now.
And he draws a Glacial Fortress off of his Preordain.
Oh god. Yes, you can't discard any Vengeflies. Yeah, sure. Oh man, I'm so happy you mulliganed.
Ryan having a good time. Ryan's a player who really enjoys playing Magic, just has a lot of fun traveling, hanging out with his friends, and obviously when he does well, it's a nice side bonus, and he's doing pretty well here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Him and AJ Soccer worked on this deck together, and he's pretty happy to be playing it. I talked to him; he's just as jovial as ever. And Squadron Hawk comes down on Ryan's side, adding some Hawks to his hand. Not a super aggressive start. Earlier when we watched the AJ Soccer versus Ryan O'Connor match, it seemed like whoever had the faster start really had the advantage. And without a Birds of Paradise from Ryan's side, it's certainly not the aggressive start he was hoping for, but we'll see what happens. Stoneforge Mystic from Nick gets Sword Feast of Famine.
In comes the Squadron Hawk, and down comes another Hawk.
Hawks all over the place. I think it's crazy that a card like Squadron Hawk is just so universally adapted. The control decks want it, the aggro decks want it, the mid-range decks want it. So crazy, and it looks like
Did he just drop a card into his bag or something?
Looks like a split sleeve.
Oh, okay. It looked like he dropped a card down into his bag. I was like, oh, that's terrible.
On camera, even. No, it looks like he's switching up his sleeves.
Man, so I traded for a Japanese foil Mog War Marshal. It's pretty hot. I didn't realize.
Is it the alternate art one?
No, I don't know if there is. Is there an alternate art one? I had no idea. Just this one. It's like a $30 foil.
Okay, so I was looking at it. I was looking at it on your screen, and it looked like it was alternate art, but it was just the glare. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I had no idea.
So I have a bunch of Japanese Mog War Marshals, but no foil ones.
Pretty sweet.
It looks really nice. So back to the game. Nick drops Silvog Life Staff, and Ryan figuring out his plan of attack. He's going to bring more Hawks out. He's going to go for something else. He's got a Cunning Spark Mage sitting in his hand that could pick off potential opposing Hawks that just aren't out yet.
I think Jerry's doing well because of my my Sword of Feast and Famine I lent him.
You lent
It's
him
giving
the
him
sword.
it's giving him luck.
Well, no wonder he's been winning. All right, and Ryan goofily drops
Standard
Squadron
Winner
Hawk
box
onto
number
the
5.
table.
Please report to the side event stage.
Serves in for 2.
Standard winner box number 5. Your event is starting.
And here comes Sword of Feast and Famine. So Nick has 2 equipments out. Looks like he's got Mana Leak and Spell Pierce in his hand. Spell Pierce pretty dead in this matchup,
Absolutely.
but that Mana Leak could be useful. All right, Nick equips the sword, gets in. Ryan quickly throws his Hawk in the yard.
Yeah, you don't want to give him that advantage there. It's pretty rough.
All right. Down comes Hero of Oxenridge. Mana
leaked.
Would have been awesome if it resolved for Ryan, but it gets Mana Leak. Once again, the power of one-ofs, you just randomly draw them and they're awesome. All right.
Absolutely.
So Ryan serves in with 1 Hawk, the other one holding back to block that Stoneforge Mystic. And once again, this is kind of what I was talking about. Ryan didn't get a fast draw, and it's punishing him because Nick was able to get Sword online. He's got some equipments out. He's gaining control of the game, and Ryan doesn't really have a good way to wrench the game back in his favor without Fauna Shaman active.
Yeah, it seems kind of rough right now.
Yeah, and in comes Stoneforge Mystic. And yet Ryan left the 1 Hawk back to block, and so now he's in a kind of abyss situation that Squadron Hawk has to block.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
But
What I was hoping to draw into here, probably. I mean, Fauna Shaman doesn't hurt, but at this point, it seems like he's pretty far behind.
yeah, I mean, he does have that Raging Ravine he can use, but I mean, it's not blocking anything with a Sword of Feast and Famine on it. And it's
Right.
amazing how much those swords just totally changed everything. Mirror Besieged has had quite the impact on this format.
Yeah, it's funny. That's what I was actually saying to Jared earlier when you were gone. Was like, you know, I don't personally, I don't think that anything in this deck should be banned. But if they were to ban something, what would it be? And he said it would probably be the Hawks or the Stoneforge. And I almost think it would be the sword, the Feast and Famine.
Sure. I mean, I don't think the deck is even close to being ban worthy.
No,
but
of course
I think
not.
if for some reason they had to ban a card in it,
Jordan Thompson. And standard winner box number 5. Your pot is waiting on you. Again, Alan Hubbard. Kenny
I
Perry,
can
Jordan Thompson. Please report to the side events area.
I can almost see Squadron Hawk just because every deck is playing it, and that's something that people that traditionally Wizards doesn't like. Is when a card is just so universally adopted. Where Sword, I guess Sword and Mystic is in everything too. I don't think banning Mystic is right, but I don't think banning any of the cards is right. The deck is nowhere near as dominant as many other decks have been in their reigns, and people have plenty of answers to Blue-White Goblet.
Yeah. Well, again, a lot of times when you see a deck like this start to dominate a little bit, red decks sometimes, like we saw with Patrick Sullivan,
Right, exactly.
might have taken off. So Ryan just swung in with a Raging Ravine there. Gets his counter, and
Takes 4, bringing it, or Nick takes 4, bringing his next forward.
Nick eats it.
All right. And so I mean the Ravine got in, which dealt a little bit. Oh, and here comes Jace
Yep.
from Nick.
Jace is pretty good.
Bounces that Hawk. Sword is going to connect this turn. It's going to be pretty rough. Pretty rough going for Ryan. All right, so he ships the life staff back.
Mm-hmm. Seems to make sense.
4 damage to Ryan. Discard a card, untap all my lands. Ryan discards a Squadron Hawk. Now Nick's just has a bunch of new options. I think he probably, well, not probably. I think that he can definitely consider leaving that Tectonic Edge up to kill Raging Ravine.
Oh yeah.
But the rest of his play is not totally certain about. So he ships the sword. Okay, so ships the sword back to the Hawk, which means it can block the Raging Ravine without any damage. But he still leaves the edge up anyway. Ryan looking down despairingly at the cards in his grip.
He's kind of in a tight spot here.
Spark Mage.
Spark Mage at this point isn't going to do much.
Yeah, I mean, Spark Mage wasn't going to do that much before. Now that sword is on that Hawk, it puts it well out of Spark Mage range. It can knock down Jace's counters, but even then. And Nick's hand is just full of gas while Ryan is running out. Down comes Celestial Colonnade. And there's Squadron Hawk.
So we got Stoneforge Mystic and the Squadron Hawk with a sword. Stoneforge Mystic has Silvok Lifestaff, and they're both beaten in.
So I think it's interesting he cast that Squadron Hawk because it gives a target for Cunning Spark Mage to kill if a Ryan were to block.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
All
Maybe
right.
he's just trying to protect his Jace.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, it's another one of those things when your opponent makes a play that seems so silly like that. Why would he be doing it? You know, it's
Right.
always luring you into a trap, or especially when it's a good enough player. All right. So a bunch of things get blown up, but Ryan down to only 3 lands versus Nick's gigantic board presence and
This
a
is
full
really
hand of
rough.
cards. Yeah, that Naya deck is taking a beating here. All right.
We had him playing against Callblade last time we featured Ryan too, right?
Yeah,
again.
with AJ Soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer is playing the red version, though. Nick has skewed Lightning Bolts in favor of a more consistent mana base with Tectonic Edge. And that's a Sylvan Ranger down for Ryan O'Connor. A nice little one-of that lets him go get a basic land.
We'll get him that 4th land, yeah. Seems he needed it pretty desperately, but he's on the ropes here at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Sylvan Ranger probably wasn't exactly what he was going for there, but then again, I don't know exactly what he is going for at this point.
Right. He searches for a forest. Puts it right down, and then you can play another creature or something here. And then there's a Squadron.
Unhinged lands versus unglued lands.
The unglued lands seem to be really in favor right now, especially among the legacy players.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the legacy players love, the unglued lands are harder to find, like they're a little more rare. But I personally prefer the unhinged lands just because I like how they look better.
I want foil unhinged swamps for my Balfour 88.
I actually own a couple foil unhinged swamps.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I don't know if I'd be willing to part with them.
fair enough. That seems to be the trend, so I just stick with my original border, like 7th edition and like those kind of foils right now, which is fine.
All right. So let's see. Jace brainstorms back. In comes Celestial Colonnade. In comes Squadron Hawk. In comes Squadron Hawk. What you gonna do, Ryan? So the Spark Mage is probably gonna knock off the Squadron Hawk wielding the Life Staff.
Yeah, he needs to prevent as much of this damage as possible.
Yeah, and that this is a rough position for Ryan O'Connor.
He's still going to eat 5 after.
Yeah, after all is said and done, still takes damage.
Yep.
What do you think Ryan's looking for here?
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't block with the Sylvan Ring. That's right, it's a 1/1. Never mind. He doesn't need to chump a 1/2.
And Nick re-equips the Life Staff. I think maybe the one, no, not even then. I was going to say Baneslayer Angel, but that active Jace, yeah. And Ryan sees the writing on the wall and just packs in his cards. He's not winning that one.
Doesn't look like it.
Ryan goes to his nice Grand Prix Nashville deck box. So going to the sideboards here, what do we think the players are going to acquire?
It seems like Ryan might want the bolts, might want the Gideons, might want the acidic slimes. He might. I mean, honestly, like the Spark Mage seemed like it would have been good with a collar. You know, so I'm almost sure he brings in the other Spark Mages in the collar. But I also just named about 9 cards from his sideboard. So, like, which of those do you think that he wouldn't bring in? Maybe the acidic slimes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think the slimes are really good on the play, 'cause especially you can turbo out and kill some lands. On the draw, I'm not sure you want all of them.
Right. Does he have any in the main deck? Yeah, he does have the 2. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
he probably
I mean,
doesn't want all 4.
Yeah, on the play, I mean, it's kind of nice, but on the draw, you really can't afford to get your hand clunked up with all this. I mean, I think he's probably going to shave some of his one-ofs, shave some of his one-ofs, probably cut the Sunblast Angel, definitely. And I think we'll probably see, I think Spark Mage Collar is reasonable. I think we'll see the one Sun Titan, and probably Gideon.
Now, why do you think he would cut the Sunblast Angel?
So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, I feel like when the blue-white Kable deck has an advantage, it's such an advantage that just wiping the board isn't good enough, you know? Because they're going to have like Jason play or a Planeswalker, and yeah, you're going to kill a couple Squadron Hawks with their Sunblast Angel, but they're so close to just, playing another Squadron Hawk and equipping it up with a sword. I feel like if you're going to cut one of you probably cut her Sunblast Angel. And Linvala, Keeper of Silence, probably.
I don't know. I personally think that the Sunblast Angel seems pretty good. I mean, it's a 4/5, so I mean, it can pretty much absorb.
Right. And it's white, which is surprisingly important.
Right. I mean, it can absorb the Hawks. You know what I mean? So if that player goes and plays a Hawk and equips it, and then bounces Sunblast Angel, if he turns it sideways, he's gonna be able to play it again and destroy his other Hawk. You know what I mean? Like it's an ability that's pretty strong. Doesn't seem like a creature you would really want to bounce with Jace, and if they don't bounce it with Jace, then it can eat the Hawks. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we'll see. We haven't seen a Sunblast Angel in 3 games so far with Ryan, or yeah. I guess ever in Standard. But
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I thought Sunblast Angel was going to be awesome when I first saw it previewed. I mean, a 4/5 or 6 that casts Wrath, but I mean, apparently it's not good enough in a format where you can play Sun Titan or Frost Titan or any Titan for 6 mana, Baneslayer Angel for 5 mana. On Nick's side of the board, or in his sideboard, we have Oust, which seems like a pretty good card for this deck. I mean, Fauna Shaman is going to be one of the main ways he beats you, and ousting those back seems pretty crucial. Linvala, Keeper of Silence, is awesome against these kind of decks. He locks down Birds of Paradise, locks down Fauna Shaman, locks down Stoneforge Mystic's activation, locks down Cunning Spark Mage, so we'll definitely see those in. I think we'll see sort of Body and Mind, Sun Titan, or Mystifying Mace.
Against Ryan?
Yeah, against Ryan.
Maybe not the Sword of Body of Mine. I would say almost definitely the Sun Titan and the Maze.
Yeah, I mean, the Maze is an interesting card. It's really good when they're going on the sword plan and you just need to stabilize, but it's less exciting when you're just staving off some Vengevines. But we'll see what happens. The players are back at it. They draw their opening 7s. Ryan looks content with his. Oh, or not. Ryan does not look content with his. He shipped his back. Oh, Ryan does not shuffle for very long. I think often I find players, they'll get a bad hand. They just want to get the game back going underway. But man, shuffling is so crucial, just because you can't afford to get mana stream, especially when you're going from like 7 to 6. You never want to go to 5, right? Looks like a land-heavy hand for Ryan, but he decides to keep. Leads on a Razorverge Thicket.
Or you just keep any hand if you're
Gerard
Fabiano.
Yeah. Like he says that he never mulligans, and I was like, haha, Gerard, that's funny. And then you read his feature match coverage, and the reporter writes down, yeah, he kept the 1 lander, or he kept 7 lands or something like that.
He mulliganed twice in a feature match that we had him on in DC.
Wow, a rare occurrence.
We were very shocked.
So Ryan gets Fauna Shaman active, and I think that is the crucial point of this matchup.
Yeah.
Turn 2 Fauna Shaman on the play, turn 3 activate Fauna Shaman. He's going to get Squadron Hawk now, which will give him plenty of gas for his Shamans. He'll be able to search up Vengevines, which are a gigantic problem for Nick's stack.
Absolutely.
Nick has Oust and a couple Condemns, but other than that, not a ton of great answers for... I mean, he's got some Tumble Magnets, but just not a ton of great answers for Vengevine, especially 4 hasty ones coming from the yard.
It's fun to see. It's fun to see Vengevine getting some play again.
Absolutely.
Of course, you know, we've only seen them from one player in our coverage this weekend, but still, it's always fun to see them getting played.
I mean, everything old is new again, you know, just like we've seen Vampires come out a little bit this weekend, we've seen some older strategies come out, here are Vengevines back. We saw Jumanji a couple weeks ago in Edison, a couple players are rocking it today again. Alright, so there's the Oust, about a turn too late, but he ousts away that Fauna Shaman. Meaning that Ryan can't just keep turboing up his creatures. Okay, down comes a sword, but he can't quite equip it this turn. And in comes 1 for Squadron Hawk.
He does have that bolt mana, but we don't know if he boarded it in yet.
I don't think he boarded in his bolts in this matchup, but well, actually maybe you did. Killing the Stoneforge Mystics is pretty important early on. So yeah, I can actually see those bolts. The interesting thing is without Bloodbraid Elf around, it makes that Linval is going to be a huge problem for Ryan O'Connor. But without Bloodbraid Elf around, it means that you can run, like cards like Lightning Bolt again, because you don't have to worry about cascading into a non-creature for your Vengevines.
Right.
All right, so here comes Fauna Shaman, and the Shaman is nice, but certainly its activated ability is going to be doing a lot. Granted, the 4/4 body it provides will be able to fight through that Linvala, provided Nick doesn't have an answer for it. But alright, well, that Linvala, those 2 Linvalas in the sideboards are certainly big problems for Ryan O'Connor, and I don't think he has a really good way to deal with it. I'm looking down his sideboard, looking down his main deck and his sideboard. I mean, Cunning Sparkmage Caller doesn't work. He can play Gideon Jura.
Sunblast Angel.
Yeah, if he attacks with the Sunblast Angel is an option, but you're not going to be able to find the one Sunblast Angel very well.
Sure.
While Linval is out. Okay, so he does attack with it. Yeah, Sunblast Angel here would be pretty hot, I'm not going to lie. But, alright, so he plays Copperline Gorge.
Yeah, this is a pretty rough game
Alright,
for Ryan.
Out comes some Squadron Hawks. Nick serves in, but I'm sure... Alright.
Can't use the Fauna Shaman.
Now we're in this awkward situation where the players are just trading Sword of Feast and Famine hits. All sword you, sword you, sword you.
But Nyx is 1 power bigger, which will obviously make a pretty big difference here.
Well, yes, except the Squadron Hawks on Ryan's side are going to do a huge deal for that.
That
because
is true too.
You can, definitely. Like, he can just throw Hawks in front of it and do some work. Looks like Day of Judgment's in Nick's hand though. Now, obviously, daying away your own Linvala isn't ideal, but a situation where you get to demolish your opponent's board position, it's not all that bad. In the games we've watched, Ryan has not seemed that good about drawing his Vengevines, and he really needs those. Granted, I mean, they're not great against Sword of Feast and Famine, but still just so crucial to have early. Alright, so Nick attacks, and Ryan's just looks like he's going to throw a Squadron Hawk under the bus, and he does. Tectonic Edge down, so that Raging Ravine...
2 edges
Oh, there is
now.
no Raging Ravine. But deals with potential Raging Ravine.
Non-basics.
Alright, speaking of Vengevines, there's the card.
Again, just when we said that he hasn't drawn it at all, he draws it.
Well, there you go. Good to see Venji out there.
Gonna grab a Plains with his Arid Mesa.
And he's shipping the sword over to the Fauna Shaman, leaving the Hawk back to block Linvala. Good call.
Makes perfect sense.
And serves in for 8. Nick have an answer, or is he just going to have to take it? I think that's Condemn in his hand. Or is that he has an Oust for sure.
Yeah, Oust doesn't do very well,
All right.
unfortunately.
Oh, he activates the Colonnade. Trades Colonnade with the Fauna Shaman and takes 4.
Not a bad plan.
That's reasonable.
Nick took 4. Nick takes 4, goes to 11.
Meanwhile, it looks like Alex Bertoncini and Edgar Flores both fell to 5-2.
Ah,
So unlikely to make another top 8 performance for either player in this tournament.
nope.
But they'll be back tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah. Both top 8'd last week in Legacy, so
Yep. And still, even when you're X2, you can still be on the hunt for some open points.
Oh, yeah.
Win out the rest of your matches, and the points for these players is really what they're here for. Top 8 is nice. Obviously, you get more points, you get more money.
Right.
But getting points at all is really what every trip is about. So you can, ratchet toward the crazy level 8, level 7 status.
absolutely.
So Nick's trying to figure out what the play is. And here comes Plains. And there's Linvala serving in. Take 5. Let's see. So, what do you think you do here if you're Nick? Do you think you oust the Vengevine? Oh, okay. Interesting. So Nick's going to oust Linvala, gain 3 life, and then day away the board. So Linvala will be coming back in 2 short turns. But in the meantime, Ryan's got some time to rebuild. Ooh, Acidic Slime. Ooh, that's a good one. Gonna waste that sword away.
That seemed pretty good.
That was a really good draw. Really good draw for Ryan there. Because now Linvala doesn't protect Nick nearly as much as he wanted it to. Any damage dealt by the Slime's death touch damage. Oh, a good job by Nick though. Gideon Jura.
Oh my goodness. It's haymakers back and forth here, it looks like.
That's what it's like. Let's see. So, Gideon thinking about his options. Yeah, it's going to kill off the acidic slime. So, Nick looking at Ryan's graveyard. And Nick's in a really good spot right now, but Ryan, the game can still easily go either way. A couple good top decks. Yeah, there's Linvala back down. It's going to shut off all of Ryan's activated abilities on creatures. The sword is still free to equip, of course. Well, not free as cost-wise, but it can still be equipped.
Right.
All right, Sylvan Ranger, the little elf that could. That goes to get a forest. So the Ranger's going to bump up, but the 3 power can't even fight through Linvala. So, yeah, I mean, and he can make Gideon attack it. That Celestial Con is looking to be pretty strong here. So I think Nick is holding on to Condemn an Island. Okay, puts them on the bottom. Yeah, it looks like Condemn and Day of Judgment. Okay, so he played the island, his hand is now Condemn Day. Alright, so Nick says everyone attacks Gideon. And he just passes. He has 2 Tectonic Edges up, but he does not have enough to activate Celestial Colonnade. So he's definitely playing the control role here. Alright, so he hits the attack.
Linvala can eat that.
Yeah, Linvala eats him alive. And Ryan passes back. All right, there's calling it 6, 10, 14.
A lot.
That just chops Ryan's life right down. Ryan's. I mean, I think Ryan needs Squadron Hawk pretty badly here.
He needs a wing and a prayer, I think.
I mean, Squadron Hawk would actually be pretty good because it would get blockers and get back his Vengevine. But I think if that's what he drew, he would have had it already. All right, so plays a Spark Mage and gives it a sword. Not the equipment Spark Mage likes to hold. It's much more of a color kind of guy.
A mighty 2/3. Pretty hilarious.
Shares with everybody. He blocks Gideon, deals 1 to Nick, and takes 7, slicing Ryan's life total all the way down to 2. And now he pretty much has to draw. Yeah, that's game.
We're going to be taking sign-ups for our 8-man events.
Ryan falls. So Ryan's still in it at X11. 2 wins in a row. Might see him in the top 8 with his Naya deck. Nick, on the other hand, is only 1 win away from a clinching. I'm pretty sure he wins his next one. He could probably draw right in.
Yep, absolutely.
So